And who are you? Trying to get at it. I'm a boss. I speak the truth, only the truth, and nothing else.
What is up? My name is Nina.G and welcome back to another episode of Music Talk. Super excited today. I'm going to be talking to Jay, who's going to be talking to us about A&R, music management, as well as influencer marketing. So super interesting topics today that are different, but that also interlink, and I'm super excited. So make sure to give this video a like if you like it. Leave any comments below that you may have for Jay or myself, and make sure to subscribe so that you can see all the other episodes that are coming out and that are yet to come. And we're going to head over to Zoom now to talk to Jay.
So Jay, welcome. So good to have you here, and super excited to be talking to you today. Introduce yourself. Who are you?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. This is a question that I never really know how to answer, but I'll try my best. I'm Jay. I'm somebody who has worked in music, has always had a love for music for as far back as I can remember. Do various different roles, predominantly A&R and marketing or creative content and management. I almost forgot that.
So how did you get started with, what did you start with? Give us a little bit of a timeline of what you've done, how it came about.
My earliest memory of actually doing something that you could call a job, maybe in a sense, is when I was in college, started writing for the college newspaper. I don't even remember what I was writing. I know it was music related, and I think it might have been a new song or 5 songs every week or however long it was that I felt like people should be listening to. Went to university. Some of the people who went to my university were also from my area and were musicians themselves that were quite established in the grime scene. Used to help them with music videos, did radio shows here and there. I managed a DJ at the time who turned into a producer, ended up eventually getting signed to Sony. I also managed a rapper at university who went by the name of Big Tobes, who obviously also got signed. And yeah, in uni, I was just promoting raves, doing a little bit of management here and there. But really, I guess it was management in a sense, but it wasn't full on hardcore management. After university, I got a job as a writer at Link Up TV, became online editor at Link Up TV. So I started looking after all the writers, dealing with all the content on the website, etc., etc. Went to Grind Daily, where I did the same thing there, getting involved with the daily duppies, putting artists forwards, a little bit of creative content. From there, I'd done so many other different things. One of them was involved in the whole SoundCloud world when SoundCloud was popping. I worked with a platform called The Good Vibe. It was called Cushion Wisdom at the time. And this was before influencers and all that became a proper thing like that. I basically put together a music compilation. Compilation included quite a few artists who have now gone on to either be signed to majors or become global stars. So we had people like Ajayi, a guy called El Hey, a lot of people know, he used to do a lot of work with Kalani. A lot of the producers that were on there, for example, a producer who now goes by the name of Io, who was called VA at the time. He's one of J Huss's main producers, produced for Young T and Bugsy, so many other people. That's somebody else that I also used to manage. And then did a little bit of tour management for an artist called Goldlink. Worked at Sony as an A&R for a little bit, where I worked with several other artists, like a group called Van Jess. And then, I left Sony, but still was doing stuff within music. And I guess now I'm here.
I mean, first of all, wow. That's a record. I think it's very inspiring that you started in college, because a lot of the time I think people think, it's after university that we start looking for jobs, but you've been at this for a while. That's actually so inspiring.
I wouldn't even necessarily say that I started looking for jobs in college. It was just something to do. I enjoyed music, and it was a way of me sharing my love for music with other people.
And all these names back then, no one knew them, but you still were doing your thing, and now people know who these people are. How does that feel? Seeing how they've progressed, people you used to know? How does it feel?
It's always crazy, especially with people like Goldlink, for instance. Obviously, working with Goldlink on more of a closer basis, I had the chance to really see his progression and the growth and just everything. So it's definitely crazy to see somebody going from being just an artist that a handful of people know to, I remember his first show in London was in Old Blue Last in Shoreditch, which, if you've been to Old Blue Last, it's literally basically a bar that can fit maybe 150 people, if that. And Andre 3000, of all people, came to the show, and he was in the crowd with everybody else because he heard about GoldLink. A lot of people were comparing GoldLink to Andre 3000 at the time, actually. And it just so happens that he was shooting the Jimi Hendrix movie in London. So he came through and came to watch GoldLink perform. That was crazy. And then literally after that tour, when he flew back to America, he met up with 50 Cent. He's toured Australia, Asia. And I think that was like where I really, really started to notice the growth. Especially like he literally had just performed in a bar of 100 capacity like 2 weeks ago. And from there, it just skyrocketed.
What are you doing currently?
So currently freelancing, in a sense, correct term would be self-employed, because I started a agency by myself, which is more of like the creative and influencer side of things. I manage a artist / dancer choreographer called Zinni X, and I co-manage an artist called LT.
So you said before that you used to be an A&R at Sony. Talk to us about what an A&R is. What was your role? Kind of, your day-to-day life, and tell us what it was like.
A&R is one of those things that like not a lot of people know about. Even going back to like when I was in college, I kind of knew that I wanted to get into the role of like finding music. But even after college, even after university, I wouldn't say impossible to get into, but it's hard to find how to become an A&R, and it's not one of those jobs that they normally have job posts for. A&R stands for artist repertoire to start off with. So first of all, as an A&R, your role is to look for talent, and maybe 5-10 years ago when streaming and YouTube and everything else wasn't so big, an A&R supposed to go to concerts, go to open mics, go to live shows and whatever else, and proper like feel out these artists and look for someone who's just like got like a crazy sound or story, whatever else, and then get to know them, build a relationship with them. If you feel like there's the potential, you sign them to the label, but obviously that's dependent on the president at the label or your position as an A&R, for example. So if you're an A&R manager, then you can sign an artist without necessarily needing approval from the president. You help them, connecting them to the right producers and songwriters, basically help with like their branding as well and positioning.
I guess that kind of brings me over when you say like job posts is about influencer marketing. You're someone who's in music, and obviously influencers are huge part. They take a huge part because they post about music that they like and other people listen. What brought you to influencer marketing? And give us the inside scoop, please. Tell us about that.
As you said, influencers listen to a lot of music and can influence the music that other people listen to. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, but Corona really gave me the time to sit down and start structuring things. I feel like the same way that I come across artists and music is the same way that I've always come across talent and influencers.
Tell us what music management is like.
I think it depends, because every artist is different. Every manager's role is going to be different to a degree, but the best way to explain it is managing the artist day to day and just making sure anything that doesn't necessarily have to do with music and them creating music is what you deal with. So the things that get in the way of their creative process or the time that they have to put into their music. So like replying to emails, let's say if you have a performance, for example, making sure how they're going to get there, making sure the set list is ready so they don't get there and they're not flustered running around thinking, oh, I'm not prepared enough. Having connections to either labels, maybe stylists, producers, people who work at radio stations. Like I always tell people, especially if it's somebody who asks me about wanting to get into management, I feel like you have to kind of be ready in a sense to be a mum, because management is not easy, and when you're looking after an artist, you're pretty much their mother.
What advice would you give people who are actually looking to get into A&R?
Somebody who wants to get into A&R, I'd say best thing is to probably have some kind of portfolio or a way to show that you've been on top of like finding new music early. If you had a blog at the time where you used to talk about a new artist every week or something like that, that's always good. Or maybe even a YouTube channel where you talk about new music. Networking, letting them know who you are. And if you do come across an artist, trying to reach out to them, trying to build a relationship with them, seeing if there's something that you can do to help them in any kind of way. And it's funny because a lot of A&Rs start off as managers, or they might start off as an A&R and end up being a manager.
Tell us about a memory that you think taught you the most, especially being like where you are now with everything you've done. But what's a memory you think that kind of gave you the most insight, knowledge, or something that you keep key to?
I don't think I had the answer, but something that I'd say is key to me maybe is, I guess you could be on top one day and then before you know it, you're not, or like the whole music scene could change. Like for instance, drill is pretty much the biggest sound right now, whereas it used to be pop. I guess keeping open-minded, and you need to keep up to date with what's hot and what's current.
So what's it like being an independent boss and building your own brand, your own business?
With starting a business, there's not necessarily going to be money coming in straight away. So on top of having to do everything that's needed for the business, I still need to do other bits of work here or there to like at least try and keep myself afloat and eat bread and butter if I need to. I think, especially because I'm doing everything by myself right now too, it is a lot of hard work. I'm just hoping that I don't pull out my hair before.
What are 3 things you love the most about what you do?
You know, the first thing that came to mind, I was going to say, is like meeting people from different walks of life, people that just have different aspects on things and whatever else, and being able to network with those people as well, create opportunities. In terms of the youth work that I do, I enjoy just how talented young people are and like their outlook on life, their positivity, creativity, and they're just very inspiring, and that's something that I'll always love. And the third thing that I love, I guess, just meeting some of the people that I've like seen on YouTube or seen wherever, I'm thinking, wow, like this artist is amazing, and like being able to meet them in person or being able to see them in concerts, especially somebody like The Weeknd or Bryson Tiller, where I've been able to see them in a space of only like me and 100 other people. I think that's probably one of the things that I love the most.
Who would you say were some of your favorite people to work with?
Working with Goldlink was definitely fun, especially like being in studio sessions with him. I think it's always interesting to see an artist's way of working or putting music together when they're in the studio, getting to hear songs that have never been released, but you don't know why, because they're incredible songs. A girl called Jay Ajayi, even though I haven't worked with her too tough, yeah, she's cool. I feel like there's so many, I could probably say everybody really. Lil Sims, Shay Lingo, Ezene or Zinni X. Well, she changed her name back to Ezene now. She's on another level. I enjoy working with LT, the guy that I'm working with now, especially because being somebody that loves finding new music, the sound that he comes with is like R&B and drill mixed together, and I just think it sounds crazy and it's different. I've enjoyed working with. I don't even know if I can officially say that we have worked together, but it would be Nina G. I feel like we have anyway, and like, yeah, you know that I've always loved your music anyway, and just everything that you do.
Stop it. Now I'm going to choose more. Thank you for that. Thank you. But I appreciate that. And honestly, because of you, because of the fact that you like my music, you are the reason I got my first radio play. And I didn't even know about it. My whole family flipped out. And then I found out later, I don't remember from who, but someone had said it was Jay. I was in shock. I was just sitting there going, huh? I couldn't believe it. So thanks to you, I had my first radio play. And I'm always forever grateful for that, because that was the best day of my life. My last question to wrap it up is, what's next for you?
I think the main thing is to grow my influencer agency and then start working on like the creative content kind of side. So potentially producing videos for people, just content, whether that be photo shoots or just branded content. Like, I'd love to be able to create content and adverts for like brands.
Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much. It's been so dope talking to you and learning more, I guess, about all the different things you do.
Thank you for having me. It's been such a breeze. I've enjoyed it. You've literally got me talking way more than I'd ever talk.
I got that special pass. Nah, but thank you.